Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on the important real-life situations in Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, our culture, our background, or whatever interests you. And today I have decided we will talk a little bit about ugly magical creatures that try to interfere in the way Ukrainians live, spoil global security system, and make us forget about normalcy. They traditionally fail from century to century, but the problem is they traditionally persist. So the first group is Russian orcs, and you all know them pretty well because these are Russian soldiers who rape, loot, and kill civilians, and they believe this is the way to build Ruski Mir. They have lost all of their plans, Blitzkrieg failed, and now perhaps they are just hunting for washing machines and toilets in Ukraine, which is pretty sad because they don't have normal running water back in their swamps, or where do these orcs live. But I would like to pay attention to another type of this magical creatures, though I like the word magical. Magical realism is my favorite literary genre, by the way. But we are going to talk a little bit about Russian trolls. From a couple of weeks starting, I have felt their presence in the comment section, and I do think this is a sign that the channel is growing. And then I have realized that it is a kind of important aspect of informational hygiene. How do we treat Russian trolls? How we describe Russian trolls? And of course, as in any species, there are different kinds. Some of these Russian trolls are just machines, bots that recreate similar messages, and you can find them also below some of my videos. And this is definitely a sign of a troll because it only reproduces one and the same message without the analysis of the context, whether it is suitable or not. Another type of the Russian troll is actually a real person who works for a fabric of trolls that exist all over Russia, and most importantly, not only in Russia, but in other countries. Also, they use VPN services to interfere and to pretend that they come from the United States, Australia, I don't know, some European countries, not just to be associated with Russians, but many of you recognize them and just ask simple question: what is the weather like in St. Petersburg, or whatever. What I have also noticed, much information is on the internet about Russian trolls, and they have already done lots of troubles to the world, to the politics in different countries all over the world. So definitely Ukraine during this war, both military and informational war, is in a serious trouble. But remember and be aware, they are everywhere. And what Wikipedia says us is that back in 2014, there were lots of troll fabrics discovered all over Russia with the center in St. Petersburg. And these were like professional teams of people, included hundreds of people who were trained to leave commands, to write blogs, to tweet, and to try to influence public opinion. As everything in Russia, they are state-funded because there are no other thoughts, ideas, or movements that can be free. You know, they are very much against various grassroots organizations, NGOs, grant programs. All of that is described as the influence of the Rotten West. So trolls are state-funded. Traditionally, they belong to a certain branch of Russian information agencies, youth centers, or whatever. And they are trained to spread the ideas that are suitable or for a particular moment of orc Russian policy. So the most traditional topics are perhaps the support of Vladimir Putin and his regime. Second, Ukraine and the United States, and third is the influence on various important political processes all over the world. And there were lots of examples how Russian trolls tried to change public opinion in the United States during the elections, in France, in Italy, and everywhere. What is really bad about this thing that somehow the intelligence services work pretty well, and they observe attentively not the problems inside Russia, because inside Russia problems persist forever, but they try to analyze these problems in other countries. Of course, every normal country has a number of traditional problems, and then they try to play on these problems in the social media, because now social media decide a lot. Still, in Russia, television is the most important power, the most important media. But in the rest of the world, and I do believe that in Ukraine too, for the election, for various political and cultural processes, internet is becoming more and more important. And internet, to some extent, is a more free space, and there are lots of user-generated contents. And these fake users, Russian trolls, they try to shape new public opinions that are not typical for a country, for example, or they try to play on various problematic aspects and to cause instability. And I'm not going to comment on various situations in the United States, in France, in Poland, in Italy, but I'm sure many of you can notice those unusual strike meetings, immigrants, I don't know, scandals that appear, and many of them were fueled by Russian trolls. And it's pretty easy to recognize that Russian troll, because traditionally they have fake avatars, they don't have much posts if they are on Facebook and in YouTube. In YouTube, typically they are bears, you know, I have so many bear followers, and it's kind of, okay, very stereotypical, you will say, but stereotypes they exist because of something. So there are lots of bears, and they may also have traditional Russian names or something. And for example, in my channel, they share very typical messages, like and in normal English, by the way. I think they can also hire native speakers, or they can have people who prepare these messages and other people who spread these messages. So typical, I would say top, some of them are West will fail Ukraine because they will get tired of sanctions, winter will come, you will lose. Second, people of Donbass who were bombed and destroyed by Ukrainian government, which is totally untrue. Then they don't treat Maidan revolution as real revolution, and they speak of it as a coup, not just the best demonstration of democracy. And these are very, very, very typical messages. What is more important when I analyze the way Russian trolls work, for example, in Ukraine, the way they work in the English-speaking discourse, and the way they work with the Eastern countries in Asia, they spread totally different messages. For example, for many of my subscribers who come from India or other countries close to that region, they say that we have learned a lot about secret biolaboratories and all of these things. So this is the message for them. In the United States, they typically try to focus on this zones of power, like we don't interfere into your zone of influence, you don't interfere into our. In Ukraine, they try to play with lots of topics, starting from we are brothers, and it is just the United States who wants to argue us, and finishing with Zelensky, who is going to escape, and so on and so forth. So at the beginning of this war, back in 2014, and I was pretty aggressive with such people, and even if I could feel these are real people, I would just like quarrel with them, I would comment and comment. And now I have developed immunity, and I'm so proud of myself because I don't get irritated at all when I find this comments, guys, I'm sorry, this is going to be my I don't know, how do you treat this, accents and other stuff. I personally, when I hear someone speaking Ukrainian with an accent, I think it's okay, so I kind of like it. So when I read this kind of messages below my videos, I feel pretty proud because I realize that I've got their attention, so which means the information I spread can be useful. and can be dangerous. And this is really important for me. That's why I greatly ask you to like and subscribe if you like and want to subscribe. No pressure, we're not in Russia. And also, I don't see like a reason. Of course, it's good to report on them or to provide some short answers, but conversations with them, like 12 comments or something like that, this is totally wrong, because even if it is a real person, even if it is not a troll, I believe it's very difficult to work with the victims of propaganda. As a linguist, as a communicator, I have read lots of articles and books on the work of propaganda during the Second World War, and I was really surprised how easily it gets into human minds, and now I see it in reality, and I do understand it's really difficult to make people see the other, to see them, that the situation is totally different. And I do value our conversations, and in one of the emails I have received a very good story about a person who is colorblind, and that colorblind person cannot see some shades, and you cannot like explain how to see the color if a person does not see this color. So something pretty similar happens to Russians who were brainwashed, and I cannot say for 22 years of Putin's regime, they were brainwashed for 100 years or something. And this propaganda, it is a kind of inside program that runs just like blood in their veins, so it's pretty difficult. You won't manage to success when like giving 12 commands or something. So perhaps it is better just to report or to provide some answers, but not that many. And of course, it is important for us to discuss those sensitive topics that Russian propaganda uses and tries to spread all over the world, and they pay for comments in Washington Post, New York Post, because these are influential political, these are influential newspapers, media, and this way they kind of want to influence people globally and to pretend that this kind of opinion that they spread is possible. So when you think of that attentively, you realize that all the comments that focus on just like everything is bad, there is conspiracy, Ukraine biolaboratories, I don't know, NATO bases in Ukraine or puppet government and so on. These are typical Russian narratives, and we have to be aware of them and we have to stay away from them. And also, I think that from time to time you ask me to advise you Ukrainian vloggers, and recently I have come across one channel, Eastern Flank, with lots of professionally created videos. So I will leave a link to that channel below my video. Maybe you will find it interesting and you will decide to follow the news. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for being with Ukraine. Thank you for your congratulations on our on very important news for Ukraine, that we have become the candidate to the European Union. I know this is a long road and it won't be easy, but the direction is right and it means a lot for the people of Ukraine. Please subscribe if you like my vlogs. Please like if you like my vlogs. Thank you for buying me coffee, becoming my patrons. Slava Ukraini!